Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about marriage, the marriage, as they call it. Yes, marriage. And this topic was requested by someone on my channel a while ago. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this because, I'm just a young sister. I'm 22 and I graduated from college last year. And I know this will be one of the next steps in my life in the future. But I'm just a young person. I don't have any experience with marriage. I'm taking what my parents are teaching me about, what marriage is like and looking at the scriptures, what they teach me. But I don't have any type of experience with this sort of thing. And what I'm trying to say is I've never had a super intimate relationship with someone. Friendships, they can be intimate relationships, but they're not as intimate as being in a marriage with someone. So there's no harm in sharing what I have learned from this topic. So let's look at from the beginning. In creation, Genesis, we can see there that the Most High establishes the relationship between a man and a woman there. So first, let's turn to Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. So like I said, I'm going to be getting into, just the basics of what a marriage is. And I want to make this a series because this is, super deep subject and there's different aspects to it, but we're just gonna go over some introductory stuff today. So Genesis chapter 2 verse 18 says, "And Yahuwah Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make an helpmeet for him." So from the scripture, we know that Adam was created first, and the Most High said it's not good for man to be alone. He's going to make a helpmeet for him. So when a lot of people read this, they're like, what, a helpmeet? What does that even mean? And people say helpmeet like that's a noun. No, help is actually the noun and meet is sort of an adjective in it. It's not really like a helpmeet. It's a help meet for him. Okay. So let's see what that word help is. Now in the Bible, if you want to find deeper meaning to the words that are written in the scriptures, they were actually originally written in Hebrew. So what you can do is purchase a concordance. I use a Strong's Concordance, and it gives you the Hebrew words that are behind each of the English translations. So sometimes when, there are translations, people are translating information, things can be lost in that meaning. So it's good to go back to the original language to fully comprehend what the scripture is saying. So this word help in Hebrew is the word, it's H5828 in the Strong's Concordance. And the word is ezer. And it means a helper. So that is a pretty good translation of that word. It really does mean a help or a helper. So a help meet for him. What does the word meet mean? This word is H5048 in the Strong's. And the word is neged. Now, I may be pronouncing these, incorrectly in Hebrew. I took a few Hebrew courses, but it's really been a long time. Studying Hebrew is a good thing to get into if you want to get a deeper understanding of the scriptures. So, neged, it means in front of, inside of, opposite to. So this scripture is saying that the Most High wanted to make a helper in front of, in the side of, opposite of Adam. Let's keep reading. Verse 19. And out of the ground Yahuwah formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam, to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not an helpmeet for him. So that's the same wording here. It says, and Yahuwah caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. So, this was how the first woman was created. From Adam, one of his ribs, and then the Most High formed the flesh of the woman. So when you look up woman in the Strong's Concordance, it's H802, and it's Isha. And the definition is woman, wife, female. So everywhere in the scripture where you see, at least most times, sometimes a word may say woman, and it may actually have a different Hebrew word behind it, but a lot of times in the scriptures when you see the word woman or wife, it's actually Isha. Verse 24 says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So, it's saying man will leave his parents and cleave unto his wife, his woman, his Isha, and they shall be one flesh. So what does that even mean? One flesh? Two people being one? What? Well, when you look up one, that's H259, and the word is akkad, and it means one. Another scripture that uses this same Hebrew word is Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. And this will give you a better insight to what this word means. This is talking about the story of the Tower of Babel, where the people originally were all speaking one language, and they were all had the same mindset. It says, and Yahuwah said, behold, the people is one, and they all have one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. So this is when they were building the Tower of Babel to reach to heaven, and Yahuwah was saying the people is one. Now this is talking about several different people, several human beings being one. So it's more of a meaning of unity. They were all acting as one person. They all had the same goal to build that Tower of Babel. So this is, the same meaning that is indicated here in Genesis chapter 2, that the man and woman will become united. They will be in unity together. So that is the relationship that the Most High established for a man and a woman to have. This is the first instance of marriage. This is how marriage is described. Leaving the nest and going on to have your own family, your own relationship. And we can see further into the dynamics of man and woman when we look at later on in Genesis, when Adam and Eve were cursed for eating the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Let's turn to Genesis chapter 3, verses 16 through 19. It says, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow in thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. He shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So, here for the woman, it says her role, the Most High said that she's gonna, have pain in childbearing, but her desire would be to her husband, and he shall rule over thee. And now, when some people look at this scripture and in the context, they'll say, oh, that was a curse that was put over the woman, that her desire would be to her husband and he will rule over thee. Well, when we go back to Genesis chapter 2, we can see that the Most High wanted to create a helper for Adam. And a helper, in a sense, is someone who assists someone else in accomplishing, a task or thing that person wants to do. They're assisting them. So already it's indicating more of a, subservient sort of position. But yes, this is what the Most High established in the beginning, that the man would be the leader. Now, women, I know some of y'all may not like to hear that, but that's just how it goes. The men are supposed to be the leaders. And in the marriage, the man has that leadership role. But you can see later on, it talks about the man, and it says, in the sweat of thy face, thou shalt eat bread. Curse is the ground for thy sake. You have to till the ground. Thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life. So it's talking about the man working. And yes, the man may be the leader of the household, but you know what that also puts, what responsibility that also adds to him? He is to be the provider. And he is supposed to be a worker, hard worker. These are the roles, the relationship, the balance between the man and woman. So let's review all that we learned here. In the beginning, Adam was created alone initially, and then the Most High didn't want him to be alone. He wanted a helper for him that would be opposite of him, and he created woman. He took a rib from Adam and formed woman, and he said that the man would be the pursuer of a woman, and the two of them would give you balance. They would become one, united. So that is sort of what marriage is. The relationship between a man and woman. That's what it should be. That's how it was created from the beginning. So this is just one part of a marriage series. In part 2, we're going to talk more about the roles of a man and woman. There's a lot more scriptures that talk about how a man and woman should be in a marriage. And we'll also read some scriptures about the Most High's relationship with the nation of Israel, because he calls us his bride. But I just want to thank you guys for watching. This is just part 1 of the series, and I'll see you guys next time. Shalom.